I was going on many websites and I realized that there is no place where I can find a very simple Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition OBIEE simple installation process. So what did I do? Well, I created my own and I wanted to share it with you so you know what it's like. I am Rafiq Wayani of ITExpertWebinars.com. I'm going to conduct a basic installation and configuration, and in my case, I'm using Windows Server 2012 R1, and I'm going to be installing Oracle 12c from scratch, and I'm going to be installing OBIEE 12c in a slightly different order than is listed on the Oracle's website. A little disclaimer, this installation, this demonstration, is meant to show how to have a complete OBIEE 12c installation for development and testing purposes only. This installation is not meant for production, as it does not highlight any of the features associated with clustering, redundancy, backup and recovery, and so on. The Oracle's website lists the order in which you need to install this, as you want to install the JDK first, the WebLogic server afterwards, followed by the Oracle Business Intelligence Suite installation components. In my case, I'm going to first install Oracle prior to this because you need Oracle there. And after that, I'm going to install the JDK, and then I'm going to manipulate the Oracle database a little bit, and I'll walk you through what that is. I have downloaded all of the necessary files onto my computer, and I've also extracted them into specific folders. Very first, I'm going to install Oracle, the database itself, and I'm going to kick off the installation by running the install setup wizard. Here it is asking me for security updates, which I do not want to participate in. I'm going to click next and I'm going to say yes, I want to move forward without being notified of updates. Something that you would not want to do normally in the production environment. You want to assign an email address right there so that Oracle can tell you what updates are there so that you can be aware of them. Next, I'm going to select the installation option of creating and configuring a database. Next, I'm going to select a server class database. Next, I'm going to specify that I only want a single instance database installation. I'm going to select typical install. And here I'm going to use a Windows built-in account. I'm going to click next and it's going to give me a warning. I'm just going to say yes to it. And here I'm going to put in my Oracle instance password. Notice this right here, the PDB ORCL, that right there, the pluggable database name. We're going to need that database later on. So just make a note of it. I'm going to be using it later on for the purposes of my OBIEE install. I'm going to click next over here. It's doing the prerequisite checks for the purposes of installing Oracle onto the system. And then I'm going to proceed with the install right here. Now what I'm going to do is, since this installation takes so long, I'm going to pause this install, not the install, I'm going to pause the recording, and when I come back this installation will be completed, at which point I'll show you the next steps. I wanted to show you an installation screen that showed some type of progress, so you can see the components that are being installed at the moment. Still waiting for the database installation to finish so that I can resume showing you the OBIEE setup. Right now is setting up the Oracle server class database. Here's some more progress so you can see what's going on with the installation process. You can see that the database configuration assistant is being implemented, is creating up the pluggable databases. And we are at step 10 of 11 for the installation. So here's a configuration assistant telling me that the database configuration has been completed and that I can check the log for details. I'm just going to click OK here. And I'm going to click Close since the database has been installed successfully. Once this is done, I'm going to go back to my folder where I have all of my OBIEE related stuff. Now that Oracle is installed, I'm going to go to the Installs folder, and I'm going to install the JDK first, right here. And this installation takes a second to come up. So JDK is a very simple installation. This is JDK 8 Update 77. I'm going to click Next, click Next. Default installation steps. Very, very easy. And this installation is very quick. I'm doing this in real time so you can see how fast this installation really is. It's even faster than this on machines that are have more resources than mine. Click Next here and walk through the install. The installation getting done. I'm going to click Close here. Select Infrastructure. And now notice what it says here. It says that this is an executable jar file. You see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the command prompt. And at the command prompt, I'm going to switch over to my Java install. In Program Files, Java, JDK, JRE, bin, Java, jar, installs, infra, and run that jar file. And this is going to bring up the wizard that will walk me through the WebLogic server install. It's very easy. So here's the WebLogic server installation coming up. And here I am at the WebLogic server install. I'm going to click Next, click Next, click Next. And I'm going to select Fusion Middleware Infrastructure with Examples. I'm going to click Next, uncheck I wish to receive the updates, click Next, say yes to this, and click Install. And off it goes, installing the WebLogic server. So here is the WebLogic server installed. I'm going to click Next here. So you can complete the installation, show me the finishing page. Click Finish, and WebLogic server is done. Once that is done, I'm going to then install BI components, installs BI, and run the BI platform. One thing to note is that the Oracle BI installation media comes in two separate disks. There's a disk 1 and disk 2, if you will, and you need to extract both of those disks into a single folder the way I did. And the first disk extracts to an application. The second disk extracts to a zip file. You need that zip file, and you need to extract that zip file. You need to extract that zip file. I did an extract here. This is using WinRAR, and it creates a disk 2 folder. You need to have the Win64 application, the disk 2 zip file, and this folder in order for this application to run. Otherwise, it will keep telling you that your installation media is corrupted, which is really not true. You just don't have the files in the right place. Just keep that in mind. And here's the installation. I'm going to click Next. Skip the auto updates. I'm going to select my Oracle home directory, which it already recognizes since I installed WebLogic server. I'm going to click Next. And I'm going to install the BI platform distribution with samples. I'm going to click Next here. And it does the prerequisite checks. I'm going to click Next. and I'm going to click install to go through this installation. Again, I'm going to pause this installation and then show you once it is reaching completion. So here's the OBIEE component installed. I'm going to click next right over here, and then I'm going to wait for it to show me the installation complete message. It takes only a second. And here it is, the finish message. I'm going to click finish. And the BI installation is completed. Well, sort of. You really need to configure the BI component here. Here's repairing this. This is for JDK. I'm going to click finish here and let that go through. Since I didn't do it before, click finish. It's perfectly fine. This is where I do a few different things. As far as the website is concerned, the Oracle website is concerned, I'm supposed to hit config and configure the repository and configure the BI components. And the BI components kicks off the repository configuration utility in Oracle RCU and the BI side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute that utility manually, and I'm going to create the repository manually. But before I create the repository manually, I'm going to enter Oracle and do a few things to prepare it so that the repository creation process is clear and complete. I'm going to increase the size of this font here so that it's easier to see, and colors that are easier to see for you guys. Here we go. And I'm going to open SQL Plus with no log. I'm going to connect as sysdba. I'm going to do shutdown immediate of the database. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need to change the character set from the default to a specific AL32 UTF-8 for internal use. And I need to open the pluggable databases. Those are the two things that I need to get done. They don't take very long, but I need to do them so that I can get the repository created successfully. I'm going to do a startup restrict. Without doing a startup restrict, the character set change is not going to happen successfully. I'm going to give you a disclaimer. Don't do this in production. This would be detrimental if you did this in production. I'm doing this because my database is a test, and I'm creating it for the purposes of showing you how to complete the OBIEE install. So here it is, the database is opening up in restrict mode. And as soon as this is mounted properly, it says it's mounted, and I'm going to wait until it opens. I'm going to change the character set for internal use. Here we go. I'm going to do a alter database character set internal use AL32 UTF-8. And it's going to get done very, very quickly. There you go. And I'm going to do a shutdown immediate again. And I'm going to start up normally. Once I start the database up normally, I am going to open the pluggable databases, all of the pluggable databases. And then I'm going to create and install the repository in my BI environment. And I'm going to use that repository to complete the configuration of my business intelligence component by running the config tool as instructed by the installation. So I'm going to do a startup. It's going to be a normal startup. So here's a database that opened and it's mounted. I'm going to do an alter database, alter pluggable database, call open. And once this is done, that's all I need to do for the purposes of getting my repository creation utility to work properly. You have to make sure that your BI component is installed already. Your infrastructure is installed already. The order in which the installation is completed is very important. So I'm going to switch over to, actually, I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to switch over to Oracle, Middleware, Oracle Home, Oracle Common, BI, bin. Now, this right here, see that RCU utility right there? That RCU, the batch file? That's what it's going to execute. Okay, so off I go, and it's located in that folder. Once the middleware is installed, and it's going to start up a wizard that will allow me to create the repository. Okay? Everything that I did is required to create the repository successfully. I'm going to create a repository right here. I'm going to click next. Now my host name in my case is just localhost 1521. This is where I'm going to use the PDB ORCL, the pluggable database that it created. I'm going to log in as sys with the password I gave it. I'm going to click next. Here it is, checking the requirements. These don't succeed. See this check requirement for specified database? That doesn't succeed unless you've changed the character set and you've opened up the pluggable databases. I'm going to check that box. You see right over here, the business intelligence platform? That option right there is not available unless you have the BI platform already installed. This is a configuration component. I'm just going to label this dev2 because I want to be different, so it just sets that as a prefix. I'm going to click next. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to specify the password that I'm going to use for all schemas. And I'm going to click next. And I'm going to click next. And I'm going to say OK to create the table spaces. It's creating table spaces in the repository. Click OK. And click create. And goes ahead and creates the repository. This is the precursor to the setup for the BI configuration. BI configuration, the way OBIEE has it, doesn't seem to work for me. I need to create the repository utilizing the RCU tool to be able to get it done successfully. Once this is done, my OBIEE configuration is going to complete successfully without any errors. Stay tuned. I'm going to wait until this thing is completed. I'm going to pause the video and then resume it when this is finished. Here I want to show you progress as to what's happening. As you can see here, the repository creation utility is working away. A few more minutes and it's going to be done. So here is the repository creation utility that finished. The logs, I'm just going to click close here. And the next thing I need to do is I need to kick off the configuration tool for BI, which exists in this folder. And just type config. Off it goes. Right, now this tool is where I was having a lot of the problems. This tool allows you to create the repository. As a matter of fact, there's a place for it. But I wasn't having much luck with this, so I created it manually, of course, and I wanted to show you what it was like. Here I'm going to specify my WebLogic server password from earlier. I'm going to click next over here, and right here, see it says create new schemas or use existing schemas. I could not get this piece to work. Well, at least for me, because I didn't have the character set and I didn't have the pluggable databases open. So I'm just going to say use existing. I'm going to specify my connection string is that 1521 PDB or CL. My prefix is dev2, and my password that I and my password that I just created. Click Next. Click Next. And that next that I just did would not succeed from the recognition of the repository being there, the dev2 repository being there. So I know that it succeeded and I know that it works. So I'm moving on over here and I'm going to reach a point where it's going to begin its installation process. Click Next and click Configure, and off it goes. Once this is done, this takes a little while. Once this is done, I will unpause the video. I'm going to pause the video right now. I'm going to unpause it when this has been completed, and then I'm going to show you what the BI interface looks like once it is done installing. So here it is showing that the BI configuration is completed, and now it's starting the BI components, and then it's going to do the BI epilogue, which is kind of a finishing script. So the configuration has been completed. It is now in the process of starting all of the BI servers. So here the installation just completed, and of the BI configuration. The configuration is done, the startup is done, and the epilogue is done. I'll click Next here. And you can see it's telling me the configuration completion pieces. I normally save this page right over here. I'm going to save it right to my Documents folder. I'm going to call it OBIEE config. I'll save that. Click OK. Click Finish. Is going to kick off a web browser. As you can see, is going to start up the analytics. That Win-6A6AB810, that is the name of this Windows server. It hasn't been named properly, so that's the reason that name is there. And I'm going to put in my WebLogic user ID. Put in my password that I specified during the installation. Click Sign In. So here's the OBIEE home screen. Oracle Business Intelligence, see the page, and you see that it is up. If you just click away, for example, over here to the Visual Analyzer project, for example, it should open up that page and get you moving. Keep in mind, I have sped this video up, so the actual time of the installation may take you longer. In my case, this installation has taken me about an hour and 20 to an hour and 25 minutes. I've simply paused my recording so that you don't have to worry about seeing the wait time. So don't be alarmed if the installation is taking some time or getting to the page takes some time. It is perfectly normal. But at the end of it all, you should see the OBIEE page just like I did. You should be able to see the Visual Analyzer screen just like I did. These are the sample sales site and the target light that was installed along with this. And that's it.